welcome to our YouTube channel Cloud Shala. Today we will be discussing types of design pattern. So there are three types of design pattern: creational design pattern, structural design pattern, and behavioral design pattern. Creational design pattern basically deals with the creation of objects along with code flexibility and reuse of code. The structural design patterns defines how objects are created to make a larger structure, to carve out the larger functionality. And the behavioral design pattern deals with the behavior of objects, that is the responsibilities and how they will perform during execution. That kind of problems the behavioral design pattern solves. So in this video, we will be discussing about one of the creational design pattern. The structure of this playlist is that we will be discussing basic creational design patterns, then basic structural design patterns, and then basic behavioral design patterns, which are asked in interviews. So I have already mentioned the creational design patterns. What are these design patterns? They basically deals with the creation of objects in efficient way. So these are the list of basic creational design patterns that are asked in interviews. So first one is Singleton design pattern. It is very commonly used design pattern in day-to-day coding practice. Next one is factory design pattern, abstract factory design pattern, then builder pattern and prototype pattern. So in this video, I will be discussing Singleton design pattern. So Singleton design pattern is basically it instantiates only one object of a class during whole program execution. Okay, so there will not be multiple copies of that classes. Basically, you will not be able to create multiple objects of same class during whole program execution. So how this is achieved in C++? This is achieved. So we don't want to create a copy. So first of all, we need to make constructor private, right? Otherwise, if constructor is callable, then we can copy the object easily. Then once constructor is made private, creating the object, that another method is we can return some variable to a function that should be static, because we cannot create the object now. Okay, so let's see the demo. So the common class structure looks like this. I'm first designing a normal class. Right, and there can be some private members also, like you want to have some logger type, this kind of thing, right? And you can specify some logger type here in constructor only. Okay, so how this is called in main, where you write some array. This is the way. And now if you want to create its instance, you can create more right. Okay, but when you want to reuse this object, like you want to use another object after some lines of code, I would say this number of lines of code you have written, and then reuse its functionality. So you are creating new and right. So what it will do, it will create another object of lower class, but you don't want to do this. You just want to create one object of this class. So what changes we need to do in this? So first of all, we need to make this constructor private, right? So we need to remove this public. Then you need to add a static member get login inst. And then which can return as the logger instance. So we need to also define a logger instance, right? Which is of type this class. So if in this function we will check if this has some memory or not. Okay, so if this is equal to null, then we assign this a memory and we return this object, right? And we need to instantiate this in the program. So okay. So now, how will the code change in this main function? So now we can't call new because our constructor is private here, right? So what we can do is we can use this function get logger inst. Okay, so I have forgotten to add a return type because it is returning the logger inst. So I have added return type here. Okay. Now okay. Now everything looks fine to me. I'm running the program. Okay. So now you can see there is only one log. So only one time constructor is called, right? So this way you can create just only one object during whole program execution. So this design pattern is very widely used. So some of the common examples of this design pattern are, one I showed is logging system. Then another one is database connection class. So it is like if you have a running application and you don't want that the database class should be the object should be created again and again. You just want to have same connection, same settings every time you want to use the class, right? So you should make it a singleton class. Another example can be a license class. So suppose you are having a system which is using this license model and you want to make the count based upon the functionalities of the like token or the licenses which are being used. So this should be common across all the system because you should have a track, like if this number of tokens have been used, now I have this remaining token. Like if you do not have any remaining token, like you have 0 token, then you should not allow to use that function, right? And another example is administrated class. Right. So whenever you instantiate a system, so for a user, you should give a, like, if you have a constraint, you want to give one access of one instance only. Otherwise, user can throw thousand instances of same system, and he can overload the server.